It's not easy building something new. November 6th, 2023 isn't just the start of a new season, it's the start of a new era for Fordham women's basketball. Bridgette Mitchell enters her first year in charge of Fordham with a roster that boasts 8 newcomers and just 4 returnees. It's almost an entirely different unit from last year's team that won 19 games under interim head coach Candace Green. The days of Asia Dingle and Anna DeWolf at the Rose Hill Gym are gone, but Fordham has the chance to create something special from the ground up under Coach B. While the names of old have moved on, there's a chance for some fresh new faces to make their mark on this new look program. That all starts tonight. It's Fordham against Adelphi University from the Rose Hill Gym, next on WFUV Sports.
At long last, college basketball season is upon us from the Rose Hill Gym on the campus of Fordham University. This is Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports. It's game 1 of the Bridgette Mitchell era as Fordham gets set to square off with Adelphi University in just a few minutes. I'm Nick Guzman alongside Julia Moss. Julia, we're going to pause here for the national anthem. We'll send it to Coach's Town. We got a chance to talk to Coach B just moments ago. Take a listen. Hey, Coach, just first off, your overall emotions heading into your first game in charge of this Fordham team.
I am so excited. Our team has been working so hard this summer to come together as a team and to put together the things that we've been learning conceptually. And I'm just really excited for them to showcase what they've been working on.
Absolutely. And you just named your 3 captains for this season, Miranda Nyborg, Matilda Flood, and Amy Hayford. I was wondering, throughout this offseason, what from those specific players in particular did you see that you liked enough to make them the captains this season?
Yeah, definitely. Amy has been competitive from day one. She elevates the level of play on any team that she's on. We do a lot of competing every practice, and she does that. And Matilda has been, from day one of her saying, I'm going to stay here, she has been willing to run through a brick wall, right? And so, and she'll do it for all of her teammates, and she just brings that every day. And then Miranda, she's constantly been chatter, right? She's been positive talk, positive reinforcement, really whispering in the ears of her teammates to be on board with what we're trying to do as we lead this program.
Is there one specific thing you've seen throughout practices that you want to see executed out there tonight?
Definitely. I want to see us push the tempo in transition. We've had a lot of moments. We've had a few scrimmages and been able to do some things. But I really want to see us get the ball out and go. We call it up passing. So our guards are going to look to up pass and push it in transition. So I'm really excited for you all to see that tonight.
100%. And Adelphi, Division II team, but bringing back 3 out of 4 of their, highest scores. I was wondering, from this team, of course, not someone to overlook, what is something that you've seen from Adelphi that you're not maybe worried about, but something they just do really well?
They can shoot the ball. Their returners, they're over many of them, are shooting over 30% from the 3, right? And so with our conference that we're preparing for, non-conference, right? We have teams that can shoot really well. And so we wanted to get a challenge of that to kick off this season. They just had an exhibition game where they played Stony Brook really closely. And Stony Brook is a team that I know well from my previous job. And so it's something that is really going to test us tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym, just moments away from tip-off between Fordham and Adelphi. Nick Guzman here alongside Julia Moss. And Julia, it's not just the start of a new season for this Fordham team, it's kind of the start of an entirely new era in several ways.
Nick, to say they're turning over a new page when we're looking at last season versus this season it's saying it lightly, to be honest, because the entire starting 5 of last year has either moved on via graduation or transfer, and then an entire new coaching staff. And Coach Bridgette Mitchell has hit the ground running as far as transfers go, brought in 6 transfers along with 2 freshmen, and most of those transfers are upperclassmen, showing that she is committed to this not being a rebuild, but wanting to compete from day one.
We'll take you through Fordham's starting lineup. It is set. Taylor Donaldson, number 3, gets the start. Amy Hayford does as well. Number 11, Maddie McGurk, also in there. Number 10, Rose Nelson gets the start at forward. And then Miranda Nyborg, number 30. Nyborg and Nelson, the 2 returnees in that starting 5. But who stands out to you when you look at that for Julia?
I mean, honestly, those 2 players. It wasn't confirmed by any means that they would be in the starting lineup just because they were here last season. But Coach Bridgette Mitchell, you heard in Coach's Sound, speaking very highly of those players in particular. So they make the starting 5 tonight. But we also heard before the game from Coach Mitchell that she expects all 10 players to play tonight.
And on the Adelphi side of things, there'll be Caitlin O'Connell there in the starting lineup alongside Victoria Morgan, Rolanda Robinson, Fruzina Horvath, and then Janet Jordan, who was this team's second leading scorer last year, coming back in as a grad student in that forward position. Is Jordan the person to watch for you?
It's got to be. She leads, of the people that have returned from last season, she leads the whole team in points per game and rebounds. She can do it from in the post, beyond the arc. She really is just an incredible player overall, so that's got to be the player that Fordham has circled on their roster.
So for Fordham, they were 19-13 last year, 10-6 in the A-10. They lost in the A-10 quarterfinals to Richmond. That was under the guidance of interim head coach Candace Green. But Fordham opted not to bring back Coach Green, move in a different direction. And now it's Coach Bridgette Mitchell in charge. And pretty much the veteran core that we've associated with Fordham women's basketball these last few years, whether it's Asia Dingle, Anna DeWolf, Caitlin Downey, Meg Jonathan, that era is pretty much over. And it's an opening night, but it's an opening night where we get to see really the start of something potentially special here under Coach B.
And I think it's a lot of fun because you and I are in the same position of everyone listening or watching at home. We're not really sure what we're going to see tonight as far as roles, who's going to be the point getter, who's going to be the facilitator. So it's going to be a lot of fun to figure that out all together tonight.
And Fordham were picked to finish 13th out of 15 teams in the A-10 preseason poll. You never know how much stock you can put into that kind of thing. But none of these Fordham players were selected to any of the A-10 preseason conference, all conference teams. So there are a lot of question marks going in, but I think you can certainly look at it through the lens of excitement rather than uncertainty.
100%. I mean, the A-10 is a conference in particular that's wildly unpredictable, and especially this year, you look at a perennial powerhouse like UMass, also losing their stars, Sam Green, Gala Kalundi, through transfer and graduation. So Fordham might be ranked in the bottom half of that preseason conference poll, but I wouldn't put too much stock into it.
And for Coach Bridgette Mitchell, it's their first game in charge. He was in charge of Northeastern for 2 seasons, previously very successful there, led the Huskies to a share of the CAA regular season title. They were picked to finish 8th in the conference last year. They got a share of the regular season title, so who knows if something similar could be in store this season at Rose Hill. We're about to get set to be underway here between Fordham and Adelphi. Fordham wearing white, Adelphi wearing black. Adelphi are a Division II school. This game technically counts as an exhibition for them. It'll count for a win for Fordham if they can come out on top in this one. But the 2023-24 Fordham women's basketball season is just about ready to be underway. Miranda Nyborg will take the tip against Jenna Jordan for Adelphi. Fordham moving from right to left, Adelphi from left to right. We are underway. Nyborg wins the tip immediately. Taylor Donaldson, kick out now. Mandy McGurk up top. Rose Nelson swings it to the corner. Getting inside. That shot off the rim. Rebound by Adelphi. Horvath came down with it. And the Panthers can push back the other way with Caitlin O'Connell. Amy Hayford watching her closely. She hands off for Cassidy Mahaney. Now swung off to the far side. Up top. Rolanda Robinson. The shot. That one's off rim. Nyborg able to box out and get the board. The other way, McGurk sends it ahead. Donaldson gets to the rack and finishes. First points of the year for Fordham. It's Taylor Donaldson. Caitlin O'Connell will carry back ahead for Adelphi. Jenna Jordan working on Nyborg. Jordan spins in the paint. Jordan flips it up and in. Nice move there from Jenna Jordan.
And that's what we've seen from Jenna Jordan last season heading into this season. Great defense by Mandy Nyborg, but that spin move from Jordan was just too good.
Mandy McGurk at the Block F logo for Fordham. McGurk, Nyborg, hands off to the far side. McGurk, top of the key here, Donaldson. Gets the screen from Nyborg. Pull-up jumper. That one rims out. Nyborg got a hand on the rebound. Last touch off her. It'll be a Adelphi ball. Fordham will retreat back on defense. 2-2 with 8:42 to go in this first quarter. Kaylin O'Connell carries ahead for Adelphi. Amy Hayford watches her, one of the 3 captains on this Fordham team. Now kick back out, Jenna Jordan, the mid-range J. That's good. Jenna Jordan, perfect jump shot. It's 4-2 Adelphi. Mandy McGurk now for Fordham on the left side. Hands off for Hayford. Hayford wheels around. Hayford gets to the basket and finishes.
What a finish by Amy Hayford, splitting the defenders there, wide open under the basket, and converts the layup.
O'Connell now for Adelphi. She passes off for Victoria Morgan. Robinson swings it to the near side. This is Horvath. Watched closely by Rose Nelson. Horvath, the pull-up 2-pointer. That's off the front rim. Rebound there by Mandy McGurk, who pushes back the other way with pace. McGurk, Donaldson for 3. That one's no good, off front rim. Rebound Jenna Jordan. And Caitlin O'Connell carries ahead and pauses at the Block F logo. Amy Hayford defending her. Hayford now gets it home from Donaldson. They double up O'Connell to the ground. It's Fordham ball.
Coach Mitchell loved that. Picked up Rose Nelson off the ground after that perfect trap.
Beautiful defensive play early for Fordham on that double team to force the turnover from O'Connell. It's 4-4 early, 7:30 to go in this first quarter. Mandy McGurk now for Miranda Nyborg. Hands off for McGurk. McGurk on the right side now, working on the perimeter. Straight away. This is Hayford to the left side. Hayford went up, and that'll be a travel on Amy Hayford.
Hayford pleading her case as she went up for the layup and her foot didn't come off the ground. I think we have a pretty good vantage point from here. Her foot definitely, I saw some space in between the court and her foot. Just awkward layup that didn't end up leaving her hand.
Substitution here for Fordham. Mina Lee will come into the game. Number 24, the center, transfer from Cleveland State. And Miranda Nyborg will check out. This is Caitlin O'Connell for Adelphi. Moving towards the Fordham bench. Now swings it off to the near side. Rolanda Robinson. Robinson now in the post for Jenna Jordan, working against Lee. Jordan, the mid-range shot. That's an air ball. Rebound by Rose Nelson. McGurk leads the break the other way. Donaldson. McGurk with the spin. McGurk now to the near side corner. Hayford gets to the rack. Hayford can't finish. Rebound by Lee. That one wouldn't go either. Another putback for Fordham. Donaldson couldn't get it to go. And finally a rebound by Adelphi. Caitlin O'Connell can go back the other way. O'Connell for Horvath, but Horvath is called for the travel. And it will be Fordham ball with 6:34 to go in this first quarter, still tied up at 4.
Listen, you love to see the intensity to get those offensive rebounds, but that was an ugly series of events there. Not able to put any of those into the basket, but at least they have the ball again now.
Matilda Flood is checked into the game for Fordham. This is Taylor Donaldson now as Amy Hayford took a seat on the bench. Flood swings it to the near side. Rose Nelson. Nelson on a right hand. Inside for Lee. Beautiful feed, but Lee could not finish. Rebound by Horvath. She couldn't control it, though. Stolen right back by Flood. Flood with Lee. 2-on-1. Back for Flood. Couldn't get the finish, but the whistle is blown for a foul, so Matilda Flood will go to the free throw line for 2.
Love to see that aggression from Matilda Flood. Was a 6th person in the rotation last season, and what all Fordham fans know was a very short rotation, so she got plenty of playing time, making her impact felt here early.
Yeah, Flood just one of 4 returnees on this team, played in all 32 games last year at some capacity, 2.4 points per game, 1.7 assists per game, and 3.5 rebounds. But someone who really grew into a role off the bench as she misses the first free throw. 6:09 to play in the first quarter. Flood gets the second to go. Fordham on top 5-4. And this is Caitlin O'Connell now for Adelphi. She crosses the timeline. Handoff there for Rolanda Robinson. Watched closely by Flood. Robinson the crossover. Gets inside. Now Nyborg back on the court. The reverse. Beautiful finish from Rolanda Robinson. Adelphi on top. Fordham quickly in transition. Taylor Donaldson takes the contact. That one's no good. Lee went up for the rebound. We'll see what they call here. 6-5 Adelphi with 5:47 to go. It'll be a push, and Fordham will get to inbound underneath, it looks like.
Lee, probably the tallest player we've seen wear a Fordham jersey in quite some time. 6'4", redshirt senior, from Dakar, Senegal. So one of 4 international players on this team.
Amy Hayford will inbound. She's checked back in, gets it in for Nyborg. That's an air ball. And a rebound there for Isabella Asensio on the court for Adelphi. Asensio hands off there for Victoria Morgan. Now on the far side, it's Robinson working against Matilda Flood. Robinson gets to the rack on her right hand. Robinson off back rim. No good. Offensive rebound, though, for Adelphi. It'll be a jump ball. And it'll be possession for the Panthers underneath. Asensio to inbound from under the basket. Asensio now all the way up top for Rolanda Robinson. Flood watching her. Hands off to Asensio on the far side. On the perimeter, Asensio gets inside. The shot with the left hand. Beautiful finish from Isabella Asensio. It's 8-5 Adelphi with 5:10 to go in this first quarter. Amy Hayford will carry ahead for Fordham. Hayford dishes off for Lee. Lee, now Hayford again. Matilda Flood, she wants a 3. That one's off front rim. Rebound secured by Jenna Jordan. She's able to find Asensio ahead. Asensio, Robinson, straight away. Now Jenna Jordan, step inside the three-point line. Shot off side rim, rebound by Amy Hayford. Hayford and Fordham pushing in transition. Hayford now from Miranda Nyborg straight away. Hayford now on the left side. Hayford finds her way to the far corner. Lee sets the screen. Hayford will try the 3. That's good. Amy Hayford from downtown. We're all tied up at 8.
Typically only a 21% three-point shooter, but made it there.
Isabella Asensio carrying ahead for Adelphi. Hayford meets her at the Block F logo. Now help from Lee. Asensio lost to the double team still there. Pass deflected. It gets inside to Jordan, but Matilda Flood got her hands on it. I think last touch off Flood. It will be a Adelphi ball underneath when we come back from this media timeout with 4:06 to go in the first quarter. It's Fordham 8, Adelphi 8. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Danny Scott.
I'm Tyler Hu, and we're 2 of your hosts for WFUV's College Gridiron.
We'll discuss all the best games from around the world of college football.
We'll also talk about the rankings and give our thoughts on the Heisman race.
We'll preview the best games of next week and give our score predictions.
Keenan Troy and other co-hosts will join us as well.
Tune in to College Gridiron wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham and Adelphi tied up at 8 with 4:06 to go in the first quarter. Nick Guzman here alongside Julia Moss. And Julia, before the game we talked to Coach B, and she mentioned that all 10 players are going to get into this game. But the rate at which Fordham have been switching things up, a little crazy to keep up with.
It's such a change of pace from last season, as I mentioned before. We wouldn't be surprised rather if there was no subs the entire game, and now a complete change of pace. But something I've liked from Fordham is no matter who is on the court, the defensive intensity is there from every single player. It's just a matter of connecting those layups, connecting those jump shots that have gone just wide every time.
And we've seen on a couple occasions Fordham going to a double team on defense if they think the opportunity is there for the steal, and that's something that can energize the bench and really get just this Fordham team moving here early in this early stage of this season.
Absolutely, and Adelphi has had no answer for that. I mean, I feel like they've turned it over every single time that they've hit them with that trap on the far side. So definitely something that I'm thinking they're going to see, or we're going to see rather, moving forward. And honestly, I'd like to see Fordham press, just fully commit there. It's clear that they can't handle the pressure when they're put under pressure, so that should be something to watch as we get started again.
It's clear offensively for Adelphi, they want to get Jenna Jordan the ball pretty much in any position they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, 4 points out of the 8 so far, and it was the first 4 points. There was a really long stretch there where neither team scored, and now Adelphi, credit to them, they are getting other players involved. Asensio having 2, Robinson having 2, but it's definitely going to be the Jenna Jordan game as we move forward.
So 4:06 to go in this first quarter. Fordham 8, Adelphi 8. Adelphi will inbound from underneath the basket. Checking into the game here for Fordham is number 34, Kayla Harris, as Miranda Nyborg takes a seat on the bench. So Harris getting her first action of the season. As Adelphi will inbound, looking for Jordan underneath. Fordham do good to block that off. Then the pass, Matilda Flood with the steal and going back the other way. The fast break, Matilda Flood with the finish. Perfect defense, perfectly executed transition, and Fordham lead 10-8.
It was clear that ball was meant for Jenna Jordan. When she was locked up, Adelphi really panicked there, hit it right to Matilda Flood.
Now Adelphi on his near side in the corner. That's a three. That one's off back rim from Sydney Rosenoff. Rebound by Fordham. Inside the spin move. Beautiful spin. Amy Hayford putting on a show early. Now in the corner. Asensio. She'll try for the answer. Asensio's three. No good. Rebound by McGurk. Ahead for Amy Hayford. Fordham moving fast. Hayford turns it over though. Adelphi now have numbers in transition. They're working 2-on-2. Christina Sanchez will slow it down. Now Sanchez up top, guarded by Matilda Flood. Sanchez hands off for Asensio. Now Rosenoff on the far side. Gets the screen from Jordan, stolen away by Hayford. Amy Hayford with the steal and the finish. 14-8 Fordham, under 3 to go.
I mean, what were we just talking about? Defensive intensity we are seeing on it every single possession at this point, and that tie game is now 14-8.
Isabella Asensio carries ahead for Adelphi. Straight away, another double team for Fordham. Now in the corner, this is Rosenoff looking for an option. Rosenoff now up top straight away for Asensio. Jordan in the paint. Jordan gets inside. The spin, she's called for the travel. Turnover for Adelphi. So they'll bring 4 subs into the game.
Talking about Fordham subbing a lot, Adelphi also making a lot of substitutions, but it honestly makes more sense for them because this is an exhibition game for them. So they're probably wanting to see, how each player plays as they head into their actual regular season.
Caitlin O'Connell, Lauren Bieberman, Victoria Morgan, Rolanda Robinson, and Jenna Jordan are the 5 for Adelphi now. Mandy McGurk for Fordham, into the far corner for Donaldson. Pass down low. Kayla Harris spins. Harris can't finish with the left hand, but Kayla Harris gets her own rebound. Again, she can't finish. Taylor Donaldson finally comes away with the board. Up top for Mandy McGurk. Swung around to the near side. Rose Nelson back on the court. Nelson for Miranda Nyborg. Far corner. Taylor Donaldson's three off front rim. And that will bounce. Last touch off Adelphi. Beautiful play from Donaldson to get it off of Morgan, and Fordham will keep possession.
What a play by Donaldson. Leaped out of bounds, able to keep her feet in the air, ricocheted the ball off of the Adelphi defender to keep possession in Fordham's favor.
Will be an inbound in front of the Adelphi bench for Fordham. Taylor Donaldson will get it back in play. Donaldson for Mandy McGurk. McGurk gets a screen from Nyborg up top. McGurk at the free throw line. Nyborg's mid-ranger. That one's no good. Rebound by Robinson, and she'll streak back the other way for the Panthers. Robinson looks to get in the lane, working against Nelson. Blocked away by Rose Nelson. Spinning is Jenna Jordan after grabbing the offensive rebound, but finally snagged by Kayla Harris for Fordham, and Mandy McGurk can lead the break. McGurk, Donaldson wide open in the corner, and she traveled trying to get inside. So Fordham lead 14-8 with 1:36 to go in this first quarter.
Got a little excited, cutting the baseline there. Let her feet move before the ball hit the ground. We haven't seen that many turnovers by Fordham so far.
No, it's been a relatively clean game for the Rams thus far. This is Caitlin O'Connell carrying ahead for Adelphi. Hands off on the far side for Rolanda Robinson. Now to this near side. Looking to get inside is Lauren Bieberman. Turnover, though. Taylor Donaldson comes away with it. Mandy McGurk. McGurk gets to the paint. McGurk with the right hand. She gets the roll. Mandy McGurk with her first points as a Fordham Ram. O'Connell once again in front of the scorer's table, working against McGurk. O'Connell, the spin, the mid-range shot. That bounces out, but she follows up her own rebound well. Kaylin O'Connell doing well to follow her own shot. It's 16-10 now, Fordham. McGurk now inside for Fordham on the far side. Mandy McGurk with some space. Kayla Harris in the post. Harris and the foul. Kayla Harris makes it 18-10 Rams, but a strong move there in the post.
Had two defenders in front of her, was not afraid whatsoever, was able to drive in strong, get the ball up and in, and draw the foul.
Harris is a graduate student transfer from Seton Hall. Played 40 games across 4 years for Seton Hall, but played sporadically. It looks like early on she's grabbed 3 boards, 2 points, and a chance for one more. The Rams lead 18-10 with 46.4 to go in this first quarter. Harris gets the roll on the free throw. Rams go up by 9, and she'll check out here. And back in the game is Mina Lee.
And look what we got here. Full court press by Fordham.
It is a full court. Donaldson and McGurk in the backcourt. The pass across. Mandy McGurk went for the steal, just couldn't get it. Robinson will carry across, but still a double team here for Fordham. They go to the ground with it again, and it will be Fordham basketball. The pressure on defense, relentless here in this first game of the season. But Fordham first another turnover. Miranda Nyborg will inbound here in front of the scorers table. And Mandy McGurk will slow things down with 35 to go in this first quarter. McGurk, pass inside for Donaldson. Donaldson with her left hand, the finish for Taylor Donaldson. 25 to go in the quarter, 21-10 Fordham. Caitlin O'Connell on the near side wing. Jordan calling for it in the corner, but it goes to the far side. Robinson chucks up a three from distance. That's nowhere near. Jenna Jordan got the offensive board and dribbled it off her foot. Another turnover with 11.7 to go. Fordham will get the last possession of this first quarter.
Another thing Fordham's done particularly well is force really, really low-quality shots by Adelphi. Another one there.
5 seconds to go. Mandy McGurk gets the screen from Nyborg. McGurk's got to go with 2. McGurk shot off the rim and out. And that will do it for this first quarter. Fordham 21, Adelphi 10. We'll be back here with the start of the second quarter, but for now we'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Chaz McAdams.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Earlier today, George Mason had a statement victory in an opener against Bowie State. The Patriots dominated the Bulldogs in a 96-45 squash match. Bowie State could not contain the scoring output of Harris, Walton, and Habib. The Richmond Spiders fell to the Duke Blue Devils with a final score of 53-83. A fantastic showing for Duke's Reagan Richardson with 28 points, shooting at an 80% clip. George Washington still trying to hold on to an early lead over the Howard Bison, up 29-18 at the half. In top 25 action, number 8, Virginia Tech leading the High Point Panthers 56-30. Elizabeth Kitley leading all scorers from the 16 at the 5 spot. And Georgia Amore diming for the Hokies with 7 assists. Looking ahead in top 25 matchups, number 1 ranked LSU looks to take on number 20 Colorado as Angel Reese makes her much anticipated return to the NCAA hardwood. In some exciting news, Temple able to put up 109 points on Delaware State, who could only amount to 43. Over 9 Temple players were able to be in double digits. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Chaz McAdams.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym for the start of the second quarter for Fordham women's basketball season opener against Adelphi. The Rams on top, 21-10 after a quarter of play. And Julia, 8 different Rams appeared in that first quarter, which is not something we would have seen last year. But I think for me, Amy Hayford making her presence felt, 4 of 6 shooting early.
100%, and another thing that really stuck out to me is 21 points in that first quarter, only 1 by way of 3-point. So as much as we've talked about Mandy McGurk, her ability to shoot from the 3, she's made her presence known in the mid-range area. And then, of course, the post players, like you said, Amy Hayford, really showing out so far.
And we know this was a Fordham team that was going to want to play fast. That's part of Coach B's mantra. But I don't know if we knew it was going to be quite this fast in terms of the pressing on defense. They had a full-court press going at one time, not afraid to double team, but getting fast break points from forcing those turnovers.
And that's the biggest part. I mean, you can press all you want. You can force turnovers as much as you'd like, but if that doesn't result in points, it's wasted. But Fordham has done a good job. Maybe they started out a little bit slow, but they've really picked it up in making those turnovers translate into points.
So the Rams lead 21-10 here as we get started for the start of the second quarter. If you think Fordham used a lot of players, so did Adelphi, but for this is just an exhibition, trying to get some new faces in and trying to figure out what their best rotation is going forward. So 10 minutes on the clock here in the second quarter. And the Rams will inbound to get us underway. It'll be Amy Hayford on the near side. Amy Hayford, Mandy McGurk, Matilda Flood, Miranda Nyborg, and Taylor Donaldson, the 5 for Fordham to start this second quarter. McGurk gets us started. McGurk crosses the timeline, near side corner for Taylor Donaldson. She gets to the hoop. Miranda Nyborg swings it back out. Amy Hayford's three off front rim. Offensive rebound for Miranda Nyborg, but she lost it. And Adelphi can gather. Caitlin O'Connell will lead their offense ahead. O'Connell to her left hand. Now on the far side, Jordan. Robinson gets inside. Robinson scoop layup, too strong. Rebound by McGurk. Fordham playing fast in transition again. Amy Hayford gets inside. Could not get it to go. Hayford grabs her own board. That one off the backboard and out. Matilda Flood grabs it though. Fordham extending their offensive possessions. Flood into the post for Nyborg. Nyborg shot off front rim, but Flood again the offensive board. Amy Hayford up top. And that'll be a foul against Adelphi. But Fordham swarming these offensive boards early.
What an incredible job. I mean, has it translated into points yet? No. But 4 offensive rebounds in 1 set of possessions is absolutely incredible.
Hayford will inbound on the far side. Now in for McGurk straight away. She gets a screen from Matilda Flood. Now Amy Hayford. Hayford. Nyborg calling for it in the post. On the far side by the bench. Hayford will take a step back. She fires the three. That's no good. Rebound there from Horvath. And now Asensio on this near side. Horvath will fire away for Adelphi. Off front rim. Rebound secured by Hayford. Hayford to the far side for Matilda Flood. Straight away, Mandy McGurk fires for three. That's no good. That's an air ball. And out of play for Adelphi possession.
You won't see Mandy McGurk airball too many more of those.
8:36 to go here in the second quarter. Fordham 21, Adelphi 10. Isabella Asensio carries the ball up on the far side. Asensio crossed over to her left hand on Hayford. The shot from Asensio with the left hand, no good. Rims out. Hayford now can push the break the other way for Fordham. Up top, Mandy McGurk. Gets instructions from the bench. McGurk. Straight away at the logo still. McGurk to the near side. Donaldson open for three. That one rims out, but once again, Miranda Nyborg crashing the boards, and she finishes the second chance points. 23-10 Fordham. Asensio across the timeline for the Panthers. On the far side, Rolanda Robinson. Robinson. Horvath to the near side wing. They swing it inside now for Jordan against Nyborg. And a whistle, that'll be a foul against Nyborg, I believe. Trying to defend against Jenna Jordan. And the Panthers will inbound from underneath the basket. Rose Nelson checks back into the game for Fordham. Mandy McGurk will take a seat on the bench. O'Connell to inbound underneath. O'Connell gets it on the near side. Horvath working against Nelson. Horvath crosses over, gets to the baseline. Her shot, that'll be a foul. Foul called against Rose Nelson. So for Zena Horvath, will get a chance to shoot 2 free throws.
Horvath has a bit of a fun story before her journey here to Adelphi. Transfer from St. Francis Brooklyn and Murray State, played most of her college ball at Murray State, but she's from Budapest, Hungary, and is a 6-time national champion in Hungary.
First free throw from Horvath, rims out off the back iron. 5'11" and adds some size to this Adelphi front court. Second free throw also rims out, 0 for 2 from Horvath. Fordham quickly back the other way. Matilda Flood into the near corner. Now into the post for Rose Nelson. Nelson kicks it back out for Amy Hayford. There'll be a 3-second violation against Fordham, Adelphi basketball.
Bit of an uncharacteristically undisciplined possession there, giving Adelphi an extra possession when, honestly, that offensive, the lineup they were going with right there looked like that was going to end up in points.
It's Isabella Asensio ahead for Adelphi. Now Horvath, right at the three-point line. Asensio, top of the key. Working against Hayford. Asensio crosses over to her left hand. Now on the far wing, Robinson. Flood, right there to disrupt. Robinson and now Hayford, and the Fordham Rams get the steal. Hayford back the other way. They have numbers. The dish for Flood to finish, and the foul. Matilda Flood a chance to complete the three-point play. It's 25-10 Rams.
Well, that just lit this whole lineup up, including head coach Mitchell. Reverse layup and the foul. Are you kidding me?
It's the same thing. It's the help defense on the defensive side of the ball, springing the fast break, and a beautiful finish from Matilda Flood. Go to the free throw line. She's got 5 points already today, and a chance to make it 6. Her free throw brims out, though. Rebound by O'Connell, who looks to move fast, but Flood in the backcourt trying to go for the jump ball. Chaos in the backcourt for Adelphi. Horvath finally able to cross the timeline, and Asensio will settle down at the Block F logo against Mandy McGurk back in the game. The dish now for Caitlin O'Connell, the right-handed floater off front rim, rebound by Matilda Flood. Flood across the timeline, picks up the screen from Nyborg. Flood inside for Rose Nelson. McGurk calling for it from beyond the three-point line. She has it now, but Mandy McGurk will settle things down for the Rams. McGurk to the near corner. Rose Nelson. Nelson, the screen from Nyborg. Nelson inside from Miranda Nyborg. The kick to the far side. Mandy McGurk for 3. 28-10 Rams.
Follows up her first three-point air ball with a swish. Mandy McGurk, so good behind the arc.
Adelphi now just looking for any sort of stability on either side of the floor. This is Horvath on the near side wing with Rose Nelson defending. Horvath gets to the basket. The help defense from Nyborg is perfect, forcing up the wild shot. Last touch off Adelphi, or last touch off Fordham, rather. The ball will stay here with Adelphi. 28-10 Fordham with 5:48 to go in the second quarter. Caitlin O'Connell will get set to inbound underneath for the Panthers. They're looking for Jordan again, but Nyborg right there to seal it off. They get it into Jordan. Jordan in the post. Nyborg right there, but a tough finish from Jenna Jordan to get the bucket and cut the lead down to 28-12.
Adelphi now adopting a full court press of their own.
And it leads to an errant pass. Matilda Flood couldn't control it. The Panthers get the steal. O'Connell back the other way. O'Connell underneath to the far side. The three from Asensio. That's an air ball, but the rebound back up and in from Carmen Quetti. But Adelphi with this press now. Fordham trying to pass through it. Matilda Flood. Mandy McGurk crosses the timeline. McGurk in the corner for Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson along the baseline looking for Lee. That pass deflected away. With 5:09 to go in the second quarter, it'll be a turnover for the Rams. Adelphi ball.
Roles reversing a little bit between these two teams. Now Adelphi the one pressing and Fordham staying back in a zone.
Fordham have both Nyborg and Amina Lee in the game right now for some size. Lee now defending. They get inside for Jenna Jordan, working against Nyborg. Jordan once again in the post. Miranda Nyborg said no. A disrespectful block from Nyborg. And with 4:54 to go, that will send us to our second quarter media timeout. Fordham 28, Adelphi 14. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Will Grant.
And I'm Chris Persianen.
And we're two of the hosts for WFUV's very own basketball podcast, Pick and Pod.
Tune in weekly for updates and our takes on the latest around the NBA, as well as exclusive insight from our very own Knicks and Nets beat reporters.
We'll have you covered on everything from all of the NBA's latest drama we know and love,
to debating all year long which team will get to lift that golden Larry O'Brien in June.
So don't miss a beat from the hardwood on WFUV's Pick and Pod.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym, where the score is Fordham 28, Adelphi 14 with 4:54 to go in this second quarter. Nick Guzman here alongside Julia Moss. And Julia, I think the storyline early is just the havoc that Fordham have been able to cause on the defensive side of the ball by just being aggressive.
Turning defense into offense has been the name of the game for Fordham so far in this one. Leading the rebounding battle 18-23, and to the surprise of no one, that biggest difference coming on the offensive boards, out-rebounding them on the offensive end by 4. So overall, no complaints, right, about how much hustle, how much heart they've had in this game. It's just a matter of getting down the technical aspects of, making those layups, making those open jump shots, and this lead could balloon really, really quickly.
But it seemed like Adelphi recognized they needed to change something. They came out in a full court press of their own. How can Fordham work to combat that?
I mean, just keep on doing what they're doing. I mean, the first time they pressed them, you saw they were frazzled. It led to a turnover, but they broke the press that second time with ease. So just keep on doing what they're doing. It's working, and hopefully it continues.
So with 4:54 to go, the Rams lead by 14 as we get set to come out of this media timeout. You heard Coach B before the game talk a lot about the pace and tempo she wants her team to play at, and they've certainly played at a high pace early in this one. There'll be a Adelphi ball underneath. Caitlin O'Connell will inbound. For Fordham again, Miranda Nyborg and Amina Lee both in the game. O'Connell is able to get it into Isabella Asensio on the near side wing. Asensio crosses over the mid-range shot. That was fresh from Isabella Asensio. 28-16. In the backcourt, the press still from Adelphi. Miranda Nyborg needs some help. Mandy McGurk for Nyborg. Fordham have to get across the timeline. They do. Matilda Flood gets inside. Flood's pass deflects right out to the top of the key for McGurk. Nyborg to the far corner. Flood gets to the baseline. Flood, the right-handed finish. Another beautiful move from Matilda Flood. Caitlin O'Connell ahead along the near side for Adelphi. Working against Amy Hayford. Jenna Jordan calling for it in the post. She's got it. Jordan spins to the left hand. Beautiful move there from Jenna Jordan. 30-18 now. But the press continues for Adelphi. Matilda Flood gets to her left hand. Up top from Miranda Nyborg. Mandy McGurk. Now Amy Hayford beyond the three-point line on the near side. Hayford to her left hand. Back out to the far wing. Mandy McGurk, the three. Off front rim. Rebound by Jenna Jordan. Asensio the other way for Adelphi. Amy Hayford defending her. Jordan again wants it in the post. She's got it again against Nyborg. Jenna Jordan spins to her left hand. Jordan draws the foul. The foul will be called against Nyborg, and Jenna Jordan will shoot two. But it's clear how much Adelphi want to get that ball into the post to Jenna Jordan.
Jenna Jordan making Miranda Nyborg's life really difficult so far. I've seen so many post moves specifically from Jenna Jordan tonight, and that one, spin move under the basket. Good choice to foul there because it looked like that was going to be an open layup, if not.
So both Nyborg and Mina Lee will check out as Kayla Harris and Rose Nelson check back in. Jenna Jordan misses the first free throw for Adelphi. Second one off back iron as well. 0 for 2 for Jordan. Mandy McGurk on the near side, going back the other way for Fordham. McGurk, top of the key, swings it to the far side for Matilda Flood. Flood spins inside on her left hand. And there'll be a foul against Adelphi as Flood was trying to get around. And they'll inbound on the far side. It'll be Amy Hayford to get it back in for Fordham with 3:22 to go in the second quarter. Hayford gets it in there. Mandy McGurk gets the screen from Nelson. McGurk straight away for Amy Hayford. Hayford gets to the lane on her right hand, has to pick up her dribble and throws it away, trying to find Matilda Flood in front of the Adelphi bench.
Clear miscommunication there. Matilda Flood tapping her chest saying, "That's on me."
Now Adelphi back the other way with Isabella Asensio. Hayford picks her up at midcourt. Asensio on her left hand in the far corner. Asensio the mid-range. That one in and out. Rebound by Kayla Harris. Mandy McGurk leads the break for Fordham. McGurk for Harris. Harris the three. That one no good. In and out. Rebound by the Panthers. Sydney Rosenoff pushing the tempo the other way on the near side. Rosenoff into the post for Jenna Jordan with Harris defending. Jordan, the mid-range. That's good. 30-20. With 2:38 to go. Again, the press, but this time Fordham get around it fairly easily. Matilda Flood to the baseline, but Flood throws it away. Rosenoff with the steal. And a chance for three. That one, an air ball, though, from Isabella Asensio. She was wide open. That would have cut it to 7. But Asensio airballs it. Fordham can inbound underneath their own basket.
Fordham getting a little caught up here. A little chaotic on the court. I think they need to take a step, take a breath maybe, and try and get an offense going.
Taylor Donaldson back out there for the Rams. Donaldson, and that'll be an offensive foul against the Rams off the screen from Harris. Trying to create some space for Donaldson. With 2:16 to go in the second quarter, it'll be Adelphi basketball, down by 10. Asensio will inbound in front of her own bench. It's Donaldson, Hayford, Nelson, Flood, and Harris, the 5 for Fordham right now. Asensio on the far side in front of the Fordham bench. Amy Hayford watching her. Asensio lost the handle, and that one's out of play. It'll be Fordham basketball. But still, the press continues from Adelphi. Hayford needs help. She's able to find Rose Nelson. Nelson forced to dribble. Hayford now across the timeline. Amy Hayford gets to the lane. Hayford pass inside for Harris. Blocked away. A rejection from Carmen Quetti. What a block. Saying no to Kayla Harris. Adelphi with a little bit of momentum here. With 1:52 to go in this second quarter, there's a foul against the Rams. There will be free throws for Isabella Asensio for Adelphi, a chance to cut this lead down to 8 as the Panthers are in the bonus. First one's good from Asensio.
Jenna Jordan getting the majority of the points here, but if there is a second in line there, Asensio's clearly put herself in that conversation.
Asensio makes both. It's an 8-point game. Fordham will call timeout here with 1:52 to go in the second quarter. It's Fordham 30, Adelphi 22. But the Panthers have really found a way to get themselves back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we were just looking. It was 15-plus points, what feels like just a couple minutes ago. And it's shown that when the shoe's on the other foot, Fordham is struggling a little bit against this press. I mean, even when they break the press, when they get down into their offensive play, they've been forcing balls, leading to a lot of turnovers, and the defense on the other end, that effort that we saw in that first quarter is really maybe not gone away, but we haven't seen it as much.
Yeah, and it's clear the pace that Fordham wants to play at, but you feel like in a situation where you have to play through a full court press, maybe taking it back a step and just composing what you're doing could be useful.
100%, and they've done a good job of taking their time even when they're on their own side of the court before they get past the timeline, but it's once they get past the timeline where things are going awry.
Fordham will inbound underneath their own basket. Nelson gets into Amy Hayford and immediately ahead for Donaldson. And Coach B drew that one up for Fordham to break through the press. Donaldson inside for Harris, and Harris with the finish just as they drew it up coming out of the timeout. Fordham perfectly goes through the press, and Kayla Harris with the finish. 10-point game now. This is Asensio for Jenna Jordan. Jordan, the long 2, that rims out. Rebound by Matilda Flood with 1:30 to go in this first half. Flood on the far side, crossover to her left hand. Flood, a little out of control with it. Last touch off her as it goes out of play. It'll be a turnover in Adelphi basketball.
We've seen a lot of unforced turnovers for Fordham. It hasn't really been as much of Adelphi putting on a lot of defensive pressure on the other end. It's been arid passes as we've seen, and then just hitting the ball up your own foot.
Asensio will carry ahead for the Panthers. Amy Hayford defending her. Asensio now into the far side wing. Asensio, the pull-up jumper. That one in and out. Rebound by Matilda Flood. Flood keeps going up court. And she's able to draw the contact and the foul. 1:06 to play in this first half. Fordham will inbound on the near side. The Rams leading 32-22. It's Flood to inbound for Hayford straight away. Hayford gets the screen. Now back up top. Matilda Flood. Flood will try the 3. That one's off side rim and bounces out. We'll see who the last touch came off. It's off Adelphi. Will stay down here for Fordham.
Kayla Berry getting her first minutes in this match, extending the bench even more.
Yeah, Kayla Berry, one of those 4 returnees, didn't play a lot last year, but she's in the game now. Inbound underneath Hayford. To the near side wing, Taylor Donaldson will try the 3, and that's perfect. Taylor Donaldson with the triple. 35-22, Fordham under a minute to play in this first half. Asensio on the far side wing for Caitlin O'Connell. Whistle, we'll see what the call is here. So O'Connell was trying to create some space for herself. It'll be a foul against Fordham. And because Adelphi are in the bonus, O'Connell the line for 2. 42.2 to play in this first half. But O'Connell, a junior from Essex, Massachusetts, started 11 games last season.
And really a high-effort player, too. I mean, she's 5'2", but still averages just about 2.5 rebounds every game.
She makes the first free throw. They averaged 5.9 points per game as a freshman as a 5'2" guard. She's been a big focal point of this offense early on for the Panthers. Second free throw good as well, as O'Connell goes 2 for 2 from the line. It's an 11-point Fordham lead.
Fordham revisiting the press here.
With Kayla Berry to inbound underneath her own basket. Berry gets that one into Amy Hayford, as Adelphi will back off with 38 to play in this first half. Hayford, as Sydney Rosenoff goes for the steal. Hayford able to keep it at the logo. Now on the far wing for Taylor Donaldson. Rose Nelson inside. Kayla Harris out to the far wing for Donaldson. Her three-pointer off front rim. Rebound there by Rosenoff. And Rosenoff ahead for Alonda Robinson back on the court. Robinson into the corner for Isabella Asensio. There's 13 seconds to play in this first half. Asensio retreats to the Block F logo with 8. Asensio still looking to go on her left hand. Asensio gets to the basket inside for Jenna Jordan. She finishes with 2 seconds to go. Nelson gets it in, but that will do it for the end of the first half. Fordham 35, Adelphi 26. The Panthers doing a good job of getting themselves back into this game down the stretch of that first half. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Brian Rabacs.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Thank you, Nick, and welcome into our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report. I am Brian Rabacs, as Fordham in their season opener carrying a 35-26 lead over Adelphi as we enter the halftime locker room. We'll be here. We'll be breaking down all the action between this opening contest between Fordham and Adelphi and look forward to the second half, as well as some interesting notes for the rest of the season. But before we get into our analysis, we're going to throw it over to Chaz McAdams for a one-on-one scoreboard.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Opening up with some A-10 action, the Howard Bison started to make a comeback against George Washington, inching to a 3-point deficit in the third, down 31-34. Bison working on the back of Tiana Walker, who has 11 for herself. The UMass Minutewomen taking on New Jersey's own St. Peter's. UMass taking an early lead 13-4. 4 minutes, 15 seconds to go up in Amherst. The preseason rankings also have some top 25 teams playing tonight, as the number 8 Virginia Tech is crushing High Point University Panthers 66-37. Elizabeth Kitley continues to dominate with 21 points from the 5 spot. NBA action continues to get underway as both New York teams tip off. The New York Knicks take on the LA Clippers. The Knicks have been struggling with efficiency late against a new-look LA. NBA superstar James Harden suits up in Clipper colors for the first time in MSG tonight. They tip off at 7:30. Over in Barclays, an underwhelming Milwaukee takes on a hungry Brooklyn Nets. The small forward matchup, one to look for tonight, as Chris Middleton looks to find his footing again in 2024, facing off against Mikal Bridges, who hopes to capitalize on last year's momentum. Tip off at 7:30 as well. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I've been Chaz McAdams.
Well, thank you, Chaz. So when we look at this first half between Fordham and Adelphi, Fordham, a 35-26 lead entering half. And we saw moments in this game where Fordham led by a sizable margin by almost as much as 15 at one point. But credit to Adelphi, they've played well down the stretch in this first half, went on a 12-2 run towards the end of things, and now they find themselves still hanging in there as we enter halftime.
Yeah, this was a huge momentum shift that I didn't expect, from these Adelphi Panthers, and I really it was shocking because I thought Fordham was so in control of the game. 7 steals on the night for the Rams, along with 2 blocks, courtesy of the 5-spot Miranda Nyborg. Shout out to her. It was very, very interesting to see. Coach B said in postgame, as we heard from the fantastic Nick Guzman and Julia Moss, that this team likes to shoot, and they haven't really been showing it from outside yet to make a 3-point shot, but they can certainly run. Jenna Jordan, 5 for 11. They've been getting a lot of momentum. She, by far, is leading them, but you can't also discount Isabella Asensio with her contributions. A little inefficient, but we'll see how it goes. But I do think the Rams have this one in the bag, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, you did touch on something that Bridgette Mitchell mentioned pregame when Nick Guzman and Julia Moss got the chance to talk to her beforehand, and she said that this is an Adelphi team that does shoot a little bit. They have a lot of players on their roster last year that shoot over 30% from three. But when you look at the stats in the first half, that is not happening. Fordham's done a really nice job of protecting the perimeter. Adelphi 0 of 6 when it comes to shooting beyond the arc. So Fordham taking away a key strength in this contest early on, and a lot of what they've been doing is a lot of press coverage, a lot of tight defense, and it's forced Adelphi into some mistakes early on. You mentioned the 7 steals that Fordham's been able to take. They're doing a nice job, and a lot of that is with the physicality and tenacity they're playing with on defense.
I mean, totally, and that's what Bridgette Mitchell has instilled in this team. I personally have the privilege of being able to play on the scout squad over there. I'm a great practice player, always blessed.
I'm sure you are.
Can't wait for that. I love that 6:15 Thursday, 6:15 in the morning.
It's an early wake
It's an early call. It's an early call for the fellas. But it goes great, and I can see the work that they've been putting in. I worked for them over the summer. I've been with this program, and what I've seen from them is a transition into knowing what they need to do is to play harder than everyone else. They might not be able to outshoot, they might not be able to outrun, but they can 1,000% outwork every other team in the A10, maybe the NCAA, in terms of just pure effort. That's what Bridgette Mitchell loves. It's just effort will get you anywhere in terms of success. And I think they've showed that with the lead that they have going into this second half.
And I think it's really interesting having you here, given that you have the opportunity to watch these girls in practice. You get an inside look as to what they're doing off the court. So when it comes to this team, and a lot of viewers, a lot of listeners, they don't exactly. It's hard to really figure out what this team's all about because there's only 4 returning players from last year, a lot of transfers, so it's a completely different look. So with the look that you've been getting at this team in practice, just what can we expect and what should we know about this Fordham team for this season?
So I think the difference, because a lot of times, even I have the tendency to compare the reset of the men's and the women's team, but the difference is the complete coaching staff change. Keith Ergo for the men's has a system, has a set of rules that the players that transferred in, replacing Darius Quisenberry, Rosting Nowitzki, Khalid Moore, they have a set rules that they can now buy into. Bridgette Mitchell comes in with her own new set of rules while also bringing in new players, so it is a full, clean slate that the returning players have to buy into.
Well, we'll talk about some of the new players that have been brought in, and one of them that's been really impressive early on this game, Amy Hayford, was one of the people that we were talking about off air, how excited we were about her this season, a transfer from Pitt, so has worked with Mitchell beforehand in previous years, and so far doing a really nice job in the first half. The top scorer for Fordham, 9 points, 2 assists, a couple of steals as well. So Hayford has the connection with Mitchell, was one of the more exciting transfers they brought in. So far, she's doing a nice job early on.
I mean, I get so scarred when I have to guard Amy in practice. It's so terrible because Amy's tough. She's really good. She's a very lanky guard. She's playing the 3, but she can easily play the 1, I think. She's a great distributor, and she is able to motivate on and off the floor. What I think the key is going to be a stat that I love for the Fordham team as a whole, and I think speaks to Hayford's leadership, is look at the rebounding split. Everyone's got a couple of boards. They're crashing the glass like their lives depend on it. But what I need to see, or what I would love to see, is some more aggressive scoring from some players that might not be getting into it. Amina Lee needs some points from her off the board. I need Rose Nelson to take a shot in the game. Starting power forward, you got to at least put a shot up or something. You got to play aggressive, maybe get to the free throw line, get 2 at the stripe.
Well, let's talk about some of the intensity that this team is playing with. And in this opening contest against Adelphi, we expected Fordham to mix in a lot of different players into this rotation. It's a lot of an audition almost for the rest of the season, and we're seeing some certain players get a bulk of the minutes, particularly Mandy McGurk and Tay Donaldson, leading in minutes, 16 minutes for Donaldson, 15 minutes for McGurk. So these are the 2 players that have been playing the most and so far making a big impact early on in this first half. And 2 players, more transfers, but also 2 players to be more excited about. McGurk, a transfer from Penn, and Donaldson, a transfer from New Mexico State.
The impact that Donaldson has in a scoring perspective can't be overshadowed. She is a fantastic scorer, very natural. That lefty jump shot, she loves to cross over, crossing the key and get her nice little mid-range off. She is one of the most skilled perimeter defenders I've ever seen in my life playing basketball. Second only to Matilda Flood, the returning player. And I think in terms of leadership, there's a reason that 2 of the captains that were named are returning players, is because even though it's a whole new system, as I talked about before, I think they're just so naturally inclined to know how to lead a team at Rose Hill in the Bronx, at the historic Rose Hill gym. The way Miranda Nyborg and Matilda Flood behave at practice and the way they lift their other teammates up when they're struggling, when they got to get on the baseline and they're slumping over on each other's shoulders, and their ability to just lift each other up at practice is so, so admirable. And in those struggles, at 6:15 a.m., like I'm talking about, bright and early on a Thursday morning, that's when teams are forged. It's not under the bright lights at a Barclays or an MSG. It's when no one's watching. And that is where I think these Rams are going to highlight their skills, is they're going to play hard when no one's watching, and it's going to translate when people start to pay attention.
And I'm glad you brought up Flood and Nyborg, 2 of the returning players, along with Kyla Berry and Rose Nelson. But when it comes to Nelson, Flood, Nyborg, Berry, who have all got playing time in this first half, a lot of people love to talk about the transfers, and how could you not? There's so many of them, so much new life in this Fordham team. But when you look at Flood in particular, coming off the bench, she had a focal point in the rotation last year and got a lot of minutes. And now looking at her coming off the bench, she's been playing a lot in this first half, 13 minutes, and has done a nice job. 7 points, gotten 5 rebounds as well. So she's playing well. And this is a chance for Matilda Flood or other players like Rose Nelson, who's played 12 minutes, who might not be known so much by Bridgette Mitchell despite having playing time earlier on in their Fordham careers, but a chance to show what they can do and showcase their abilities. And I think that's a lot what we're seeing from some of the returning Fordham players.
Culturally, it is unequivocal that how important these girls are to this program. I think that Nelson, Flood, and Nyborg are all going to be key pieces as we see the season develop. And I think off the court it's very important, but on the court they can hoop. There's some dogs. Miranda Nyborg, 2 swats. Like, get out of my paint. She owns the paint with authority. They talk about in practice getting a piece of the paint. But when the other team's coming down the floor, when Miranda Nyborg sees Panthers on the fast break trying to come full 94 feet, she says, get the ball out of my restricted area. She knows how to play great paint defense. And as anyone who plays basketball know, the most important person in a defense is the 5 spot, because they're down low, they can direct. And Miranda Nyborg's smart. She knows how to direct the perimeters, call switches, call screens, when to hedge, when to double, when to trap. She is an insurmountable force at the 5 spot.
When looking at the second half of this game, Fordham leading 35-26 over Adelphi at halftime. We're almost set to get you back to the second half of action, but when looking at these Adelphi players, Jordan's been doing a great job early on in the first half. So when it comes to this second half of action, it's about zeroing in on Jenna Jordan, in my opinion. She's taken a bulk of scoring 12 points. So if Fordham can do a good job of defending her and forcing other players to take a shot, get more involved, it can work more towards disrupting this Adelphi offense, which I think Fordham should look to do in the second half of action.
I mean, yeah, she played 18 minutes in 2 20-minute periods. Like, there's a reason that she's leading the Panthers in scoring. But I think Tilly's got that on locks. If you have that assignment 1-to-1, you say no switch, let me stay on her through the screens, through the backdoor cuts. I think Tilly, and especially if TD can come off the help, I think they got Jenna on locks. And then I don't think you have to worry about the others, considering 0 for 6 from 3. They're shooting 33% from the field. I think the Rams need to maybe shoot less threes. Again, they are not particularly great. Just go out and run. I've seen how these girls get their cardio in.
Well,
they know how to run.
It's the season opener between Fordham and Adelphi. Fordham a 35-26 lead. We're just about ready to get you to the second half of action. We'll be back here in the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one postgame report. But for now, let's send it back to the Rose Hill Gym with Nick Guzman and Julia Moss for the second half between Fordham and Adelphi.
Thank you, Brian. Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym. We're just about ready for the start of the second half between Fordham and Adelphi. The Rams on top, 35-26. Julia, an eventful, fast-paced first half, but I think you got to be happy with it on the Fordham side of things.
I mean, they're leading by 9 points. I think that speaks for itself. But we talk about we talked about at the beginning of the show how we're going to be learning things throughout the course of this game. And I think the thing that speaks to me the most is the fact they're putting Miranda Nyborg on Jenna Jordan. It says a lot that they've looked to her as the premier defender to guard their best player, because we didn't see her at all last season. It speaks a lot to her offseason and how she's looking. You know, Jenna Jordan's the best person on the court right now, but we knew that coming in. Miranda Nyborg's done an excellent job at containing her and keeping this score 35-26.
And there was a point in that first half where Fordham had both Nyborg and Lee patrolling the paint, and that's sort of a whole another element this team could go to if they want to. But right now, Fordham lead Adelphi by 9. Their leading scorer in that first half with 9 points was Amy Hayford. But she didn't score in that second quarter. Those are all first quarter points from Hayford.
It all goes back to the fact that Coach Mitchell trusts pretty much everyone on this bench and everyone on the court. The rotation is so large, and every player is stepping up. I mean, just about everyone who's touched the court, outside of Kayla Berry, has at least 2 rebounds. Everyone is taking strides as the game has gone along and really showing that anyone can score on this entire team.
Yeah, 10 players were available for this game, and 9 have played so far. Only Cassidy Mahaney has not been able to touch the court yet. We're about 30 seconds removed from starting this second half. But the press that Adelphi came out with in that second quarter, Fordham had a little bit of trouble handling with, but they called a timeout, and after the timeout, it seemed like they were able to move past it a little quicker and just more effectively.
What's so interesting about the way we saw things play out there with the press is that they were very patient when they were on their own half-court line. And that's usually the place where teams really panic because they want to get it across before they get a violation. But they were very patient, got the ball up in the amount of time that they wanted to. It was when they were driving on the other side that we saw those errant passes, those turnovers. So I'm sure going into the half, that was a huge point for Coach Mitchell, and should be fun to see how they react to it at the start of this second half, because I have no doubt Adelphi is going to keep the press going.
Yeah, and both teams used big rotation, so that sort of physical effort in terms of maintaining a full court press is something you can do when you're using a 9-10 deep rotation.
I mean, if someone's tired, you have a whole bench to pick to come in. It's shown between both coaches that they're not afraid to go to any player who's sitting on that bench.
We're just about ready to start the second half here at the Rose Hill Gym. Adelphi will inbound from this near side. It'll be Sydney Rosenoff to get things started for the Panthers. For Fordham on the court is the same starting 5 as they started the game with. Maddie McGurk, Amy Hayford, Rose Nelson, Taylor Donaldson, and Miranda Nyborg are the 5 for your Fordham Rams. So we're underway here in the second half. Caitlin O'Connell backing down Hayford, and Amy Hayford called for an early foul. Just 8 seconds elapsed here as the Panthers will inbound once again from this near side. Rosenoff into the backcourt for Caitlin O'Connell. Crosses the timeline, now facing off against Hayford on the near side. O'Connell to her right hand, gets to the middle. Nyborg with the double team. Jenna Jordan now in the paint on the near side. Jordan backing down against Miranda Nyborg. Or Rose Nelson, rather. Nelson with the beautiful defense. Shot off the glass, no good. Fordham can push the other way in transition through Mandy McGurk. McGurk to the near side corner. Amy Hayford, jump step, now swung back out. Top of the key, Rose Nelson to the far side for the 3 from Donaldson. Off back rim. Rebound there by Rosenoff. And Sydney Rosenoff can carry ahead on the far side for Adelphi. Rosenoff against Hayford. She gets the screen from Jenna Jordan. Now top of the key, swung to the near side. 3-pointer. That one no good from Orlando Robinson. Rebound by Taylor Donaldson on the far side. Donaldson, top of the key, takes a dribble inside. Donaldson off back rim. Nyborg fighting for the rebound. Jenna Jordan eventually comes away with it. And now Caitlin O'Connell for Adelphi. 8:45 to go in this third quarter. Still 35-26 Fordham. Swung all the way to the far side for Sydney Rosenoff. A double team here from Nelson and Donaldson. Rosenoff gets the pass off into the corner. The open 3 is an air ball from Rosenoff. Last touch off Jenna Jordan underneath, and it will be Fordham basketball.
Just how Fordham drew it up there. Double teamed a good shooter from behind the arc and left Rosenoff open. Showed why they left her open. Airballed that 3 there. 2
early subs here for Fordham. Matilda Flood checks in. So does Mina Lee. As Miranda Nyborg and Rose Nelson check out. Flood has more pressure here from Adelphi ahead for Lee. Now on the far side, Mandy McGurk. Top of the key here for Hayford. Hayford goes behind the back of the free throw line. Hayford forced to pick up her dribble, pass to the near corner. Donaldson with the left hand. She draws the foul and will go to the free throw line. Taylor Donaldson.
Donaldson proving to be a threat from behind the arc, and also as she's driving towards the basket, which makes it very, very difficult to defend her.
Donaldson had 7 points in that first half. 8:14 to go here in the third quarter. Along with 3 rebounds and 1 assist to go along with it. But Donaldson at the free throw line for the first time tonight. She makes the first as we have her first points here of the second half for either side. Donaldson, a transfer from New Mexico State, averaged 7.5 points per game last year. Donaldson, and a whistle here. I think it'll be a lane violation against the Rams. So second free throw, no good. 36-26, Fordham. Adelphi will inbounds on the far side in front of the Fordham bench in the backcourt. Adelphi in black, attacking from right to left. Fordham in white from left to right. In the far corner, this is Jenna Jordan for Adelphi. Into the post here. Horvath, the spin. Tough shot from Horvath. No good. Rebound by the Rams. Matilda Flood dribbles back up the other way. Now Mandy McGurk at the Block F logo. Watched closely by Rolanda Robinson. Pass inside for Lee. Lee, McGurk on the right side wing. McGurk takes a dribble to the left. Her shot off front iron. Rebound by Adelphi. Caitlin O'Connell back the other way down the left side. She hands off there for Rosenoff. Rosenoff with the right hand got the shot up. A whistle and a foul. And Sydney Rosenoff will go to the free throw line and shoot 2. But 7:35 to go in this third quarter and just the 1 point so far from either side.
Yeah, it's been a less than ideal start for both sides offensively, and it's looking like the second set of points is going to come from free throws as well.
So Rosenoff, a 5'9" junior, started 37 games across 2 years previously for Adelphi. Her first free throw is an ugly one off front rim. So the Panthers still search for their first points of this second half. Second one is also short from Rosenoff. Fordham maintain their 10-point lead with 7:30 to play in this third quarter. Mandy McGurk gets inside on the right hand. McGurk, tough shot, no good. Rebound by Lee. Lee back up with it. First made field goal by either side, and it comes from Mina Lee. In the backcourt, some pressure from Fordham. Horvath ahead for Robinson, but the pressure continues for the Rams. Pull-up jumper, no good. And a rebound there for Mandy McGurk. McGurk the other way for Fordham. McGurk all the way to the hole. Mandy McGurk scoops it up and in. 40-26 Fordham.
Beautiful drive to the basket from Mandy McGurk. Had a wide open layup and delivered beautifully.
Amy Hayford leading this full court press from the Rams. Now Donaldson providing the pressure on Robinson, but they're able to flip it over there for Rosenoff on the far side. Jenna Jordan, the mid-range jumper. That's perfect. And a whistle, and we'll get a timeout here with 6:40 to go in the third quarter. The score, Fordham 20, Adelphi 28. But Julia, early on in this one, not a ton of scoring in the third quarter, early on in the second half, but the Rams starting to find their stride here with the press.
Well, also luckily for Fordham, they went into the half up quite a few points as well. So if it's going to be a messy game, at least both sides have been playing messy. That definitely works in Fordham's favor here. But starting to clean it up, 12-point game at this point. Should be interesting to see what they come out with.
Fordham 40, Adelphi 28. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jack Warner, one of your New York Rangers beat reporters for the 2023-2024 NHL season. I'll have you covered all season long as New York looks to bring a Stanley Cup back to the Big Apple in Peter Laviolette's first season as head coach. Follow me on Twitter at Jack_Warner23 for live game updates, post-game media availability, and all things Blue Shirts.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym with 6:40 to go in the third quarter between Fordham and Adelphi. The Rams on top of the Panthers as it stands by a score of 40-28. We've talked at length, Julia, about this Fordham press, but it really is what's been causing the chaos defensively and what's led to these steals and great opportunities the other way.
100%. Fordham committing to the press at this point, and as they should, because every time they do, Adelphi looks frazzled, they look scared, they can't score, they can't even really get the ball past the half court most of the time. But something else that I find super interesting about this game so far is that we talk about who is going to be that one scorer, who is going to be that leader in this team, and so far it's been a very evenly distributed level of scoring, level of assists, facilitating, and it's worked. I mean, that's the best part, is that it's worked so far. It's 40-28, and there hasn't needed to be one player to step up and take control.
I think that's kind of what you had to expect coming into this season when you look at all of these different transfers and their resumes. A lot of very well-rounded players, a lot of players who average a lot of assists and rebounds and will do those sort of things that your team needs, but not a ton of scorers or pure scorers coming in. So it does seem like it's kind of been a scoring by committee sort of set up early.
And I think it's important to remind people that this is the first time this group of players is playing on a court in a real regular season game. And Coach Mitchell hasn't made it much easier as far as getting, chemistry between these players with how many subs we've seen throughout this game. But Fordham has dealt with it perfectly, up by 12 at this point as they're about to resume play here.
6:40 to go in the third quarter. Fordham will inbound from underneath their own basket, and Mandy McGurk will dribble up court for the Rams. Watched closely by Sydney Rosenoff, but the pick there from Matilda Flood allows McGurk to get up court. Pass to the far side wing. This is Donaldson. Now McGurk on the near side. Back in front of the Fordham bench for Donaldson. Donaldson cross-court pass to the near side. Hayford getting inside. Now she ditches off for Lee. Lee now spins again. Lee draws the foul. But Mina Lee doing some nifty work there in the post to get the foul. And she'll shoot two at the line.
Lee come under the double pressure there. Had two players on her, able to pivot into what looked like a pretty open shot just off of the rim there, but able to draw the foul.
Lee has 2 points on the day so far. She's a transfer from Cleveland State. It's a Cleveland State team that made the NCAA tournament last year and won the Horizon League. First free throw from Lee is perfect. 6:15 to play in this third quarter. Fordham 41, Adelphi 28. The second is also perfect from Lee. Rams up by 12. The press continues for Fordham in the backcourt. Taylor Donaldson leading it, but Adelphi able to get it ahead. Kaylin O'Connell, the long three, no good. Rebound by Lee. Matilda Flood carrying back the other way for Fordham into the near side corner for Amy Hayford. She fakes a shot. Now back up top to the Block F logo for Mandy McGurk. McGurk commands this Fordham offense. McGurk with Flood to her left. McGurk pass inside for Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson slipped, able to recover. Still Donaldson into the post for Lee. Lee, and a whistle and a travel there against Lee. The Adelphi basketball. 5:40 to go in this third quarter. Fordham 42, Adelphi 28.
Lee pointing over to her own bench, thinking that it ricocheted off the Adelphi player, not knowing that she was called for a travel. Once she realized, completely beside herself.
This is Robinson, pass ahead for Adelphi. Getting inside here is Horvath. Horvath addition to the post, and a beautiful finish there from Carmen Quetti. Adelphi back within 12. Mandy McGurk across the Block F logo for the Rams. McGurk, pass to the near side wing. This is Amy Hayford, and a whistle and a foul off ball against Adelphi. It'll stay down this end of the court with the Rams. Hayford will inbound underneath the basket as Miranda Nyborg will check back in for Mina Lee. But Hayford to inbound for the Rams. She gets it in up top for Nelson, backing down. The give back for Hayford with the right hand. That shot no good, but Hayford got a hand to that one in the backcourt. Adelphi able to recover, though, through Horvath, who dribbles ahead for the Panthers. But a whistle, that'll go against Adelphi. We're going back the other way now for Fordham.
Another 3-second violation, this time for Adelphi, giving Fordham another possession Back to that last possession we saw, credit to Amy Hayford because she was talking to the ref, turns her head around, sees the ball, swats it, unfortunately goes right to the Adelphi player, but great way to have her head on a swivel.
Taylor Donaldson on the near side wing for Fordham. Watched closely by Isabella Asensio back on the court for Adelphi. Swung all the way around to the far side now for Matilda Flood. Top of the key here, Hayford. Hayford gets inside with her left hand. Her shot no good, but a foul called on the Panthers. So Amy Hayford will go to the free throw line and shoot two.
Fordham seemingly starting to realize that if they just drive to the basket, there's a good chance Adelphi is going to foul. Last 3 or 4 possessions, we've seen at least a foul of some sort called against Adelphi.
That will send us into a media timeout with 4:48 to go in the third quarter. Fordham on top of Adelphi, 42-30. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Julia Moss, WFUV's 2023 New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season for game updates, pre- and post-game analysis, and special reports as Aaron Rodgers looks to lead his team to the Super Bowl in his first year in New York. Follow me on Twitter at @JuliaMoss__ for all things New York Jets.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym. Nick Guzman here alongside Julia Moss, Fordham, and Adelphi in a 12-point game here, 42-30 in favor of the Rams with 4:48 to go in this third quarter. And it looked like early, Julia, that maybe Fordham were going to run away with this one in the first quarter or the second quarter, but Adelphi managed to keep it close enough.
And credit to Adelphi for sticking in because Fordham has had a lot more possessions than Adelphi has due to turnovers forced in that press that we've talked about so long in this game so far. But Fordham seemingly able to find stability as we head into these free throws that we're about to take here.
But for the Rams here with 4:47 to go in this third quarter, this is a game that they're supposed to win, but I think there's still been a lot of things that you can see in terms of the defensive intensity, the pressing, just the general pace that Fordham's trying to play their game at. That's sort of what Coach B is trying to mold into this team.
A lot of things that we've seen that we've liked so far, and some things we've disliked as well. The pace being something that's been a really strong point for Fordham. The hustle's been great. The defensive intensity, as we've mentioned, has been really good. But it's a matter of converting that on the other side. There have been stretches at times, particularly the end of that first quarter, where those turnovers turned into easy layups, easy shots. But too often so far in this game, we've seen Fordham go through stretches where they just can't get a basket.
There will be 2 free throws here coming out of the media timeout for Amy Hayford. From the Netherlands, a transfer from Pitt. Amy's a player that Coach B knew beforehand from her 2 years as an assistant coach at Pitt. The first free throw here from Hayford. That one's good, but it says a lot for Hayford to have arrived. She wasn't here last season. This is her first season as a Fordham Ram, and to be named one of the 3 captains of this squad. It says a lot about her.
Absolutely, and I think that relationship between Hayford and Coach Mitchell really speaks to what we're seeing now today, and it really speaks to how Coach Bridgette Mitchell is as a leader of this team. Amy Hayford following her here to Fordham.
Her second free throw rims out. Fordham pick up with the full court press immediately. Adelphi able to play through it, and the floater down low from Robinson is good. So Adelphi cut that lead down. It's 43-32 now with 4:30 to go in the third quarter. Hayford leads the break the other way for the Rams. Hayford, pressure from Robinson. Hayford stumbles down, and a loose pass there, but Miranda Nyborg able to gather it down low. Now Nyborg can work in the post. Nyborg to spin. Her shot off front iron, but a beautiful rebound and a finish from Taylor Donaldson. More second chance points from the Rams. And now Adelphi back the other way. Robinson, transition 3 from the far side, in and out. Rebound by Hayford. Amy Hayford all the way. She slipped on the court, and she'll get called for a travel. 3:57 to play. 45-32 Fordham.
Really unlucky there from Amy Hayford. Trying to drive in, took a gather step before she went up to the basket, but slipped before she could get the ball out of her hands.
Caitlin O'Connell will inbound, but right away, again, the press back on for Fordham. Hayford on the ball. Matilda Flood and Taylor Donaldson also helping defend in the backcourt. O'Connell's got nowhere to go. She passed it in off of Hayford, and they'll do it again. But Adelphi really don't know what to do with this press right now.
High IQ play, though, from O'Connell, knowing that nothing's open and just batting it off of Hayford's leg.
O'Connell gets the pass into Robinson on the far side. She's running at Miranda Nyborg. Robinson to the basket with her right hand off the side of the backboard. But an offensive rebound there from Adelphi. Trying to save it was Quetty. But Fordham can break back the other way. Donaldson pass inside looking for Nyborg, stolen away by the Panthers. Christina Sanchez gathers herself in the backcourt. Asensio on the near wing. Now Robinson. Robinson calling for it in the post. They get it inside there for Quetty. Quetty to the right hand in the post. Miranda Nyborg again says no. Matilda Flood ahead for Donaldson in transition. The Rams by 15. Asensio will try to settle things down here with about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Asensio hands off on the near wing for O'Connell. Now swung to the far side here for Christina Sanchez. Sanchez behind the back, gets inside, scoop layup, no good. But a foul will be called there against Hayford. But Christina Sanchez showing off her bag to draw the foul with 2:53 to go in the third quarter. 47-32 Rams. Rose Nelson and Mandy McGurk will check back in for Fordham as Amy Hayford and Matilda Flood will check out for the Rams. 2 shots here for Sanchez. First one's good from the sophomore guard.
Christina Sanchez, a rare case of, she leads the team in three-point percentage at 51, but her free throw percentage is somehow lower at 41.
Second one good as well from Sanchez. 47-34 Fordham, under 3 to play in this third quarter. Mandy McGurk across the timeline. Now moves right side, trying to get to the baseline. McGurk draws the foul there. And Fordham not yet in the bonus. They'll inbound from underneath the basket as McGurk draws the foul.
Ref checking out the court here. 2 out of the last 3 possessions have resulted in players slipping. Might be an issue with the court.
Check that, Fordham now in the bonus, so Mandy McGurk will go to the free throw line with the Rams up by 13. McGurk's a transfer from UPenn, started all 29 games last season in the Ivy League, averaged 8 points per game. We talked about these players who come in as sort of jack of all trades, 8 points per game, 2.8 assists per game, 3.1 rebounds per game. Doesn't stand out as maybe a big-time scorer, but she'll do everything as the first free throw rims out.
And I think those are the kind of players that Coach Mitchell has really targeted. High-effort players, high-intensity players. We've seen that translate here tonight.
Yeah, when talking about McGurk, when she first announced she was coming to Fordham, she misses both free throws. She talked about her versatile skill set as a big reason why she was brought into this program. This is Isabella Asensio. After McGurk misses both free throws, Asensio dribbling on the near side in the near side corner. This is Jenna Jordan. Jordan spinning inside on Rose Nelson. Jordan, and a travel there against Jenna Jordan, trying to work her way into the paint. Rose Nelson did well, and it's a turnover.
Jenna Jordan established her pivot foot and then took 3 more steps, so that traveled every time.
Mandy McGurk will dribble ahead for Fordham. McGurk in the near corner here for Rose Nelson. Nelson into the middle. Miranda Nyborg, the left-handed layup. That's good. 49-34 Rams. Asensio up the far side with McGurk watching her. Handoff for Robinson. Top of the key here for Rosenoff. Now Sanchez. Sanchez near corner 3 for Robinson. That's no good. Rebound by the Rams. Kayla Harris on the court secures the board. Mandy McGurk the other way for Fordham. McGurk to the far side. Nelson inside for Miranda Nyborg. Nyborg working in the post. Her hook shot off front rim. No good. Rebound back the other way. Rolanda Robinson. Now the mid-range jumper in transition. Too strong from Asensio. Strong offensive board from Horvath. And a whistle and a foul there. That was Sydney Rosenoff, check that, who grabbed the board and drew the foul. So Rosenoff will go to the free throw line and shoot 2. 2 substitutions here coming in for the Rams. Amy Hayford checks back into the game. as does number 24, Mina Lee. First free throw's perfect from Rosenoff. Checking out for Fordham, it's Taylor Donaldson and Kayla Harris. Rosenoff makes the second as well. 49-36 Rams with 1:30 to play in this third quarter. Mandy McGurk in the backcourt. McGurk accelerates now across the Block F logo. Lee calling for it in the post. She'll now come for the screen. McGurk, pull-up jumper. That's off front rim. Rebound from Sanchez, who gets it ahead to Jordan. Jordan, but beautiful defense getting back from Rose Nelson to get the steal. Nelson might have walked there, but she got away with it. Mina Lee will hand off for Amy Hayford, who will calm things down at the Block F logo. 1 minute to play in the third quarter. On the near side wing, it's Mandy McGurk. McGurk moves left off the screen from Lee. Up top, Rose Nelson, now on the far side. Hayford takes 2 dribbles. The pull-up jumper from the mid-range is perfect. Asensio with 43 to go in the third quarter. 51-36 Rams. Asensio on the near side, hands off for Robinson. Pass into the post for Jordan. Jordan spins onto her left hand. Tough shot. No good. And Fordham can carry back the other way through Hayford. Mandy McGurk. 25 seconds to play in the third quarter. She'll settle things down at the Block F logo. 20 on the shot clock. There's a 1 second differential. McGurk, near side wing, Rose Nelson. Nelson at the Block F logo. The shot from distance is perfect from Amy Hayford. With 3 seconds to go in the quarter. What a way to end it. Robinson, the half-court heave off the rim. But Amy Hayford puts an exclamation point on the end of this third quarter for the Rams. They lead 54-36 heading into the fourth. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Chaz McAdams.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
And A10 action continues. George Washington looking to hold off the Howard comeback late in the fourth. Revolutionaries lead the Bison 58-50. Nia Robertson putting on a clinic with 25 points, 7 threes made at a 50% clip. The UMass Minutewomen still have one over on the St. Peter's Peacocks at the half. UMass up 26-17 with only 6 made field goals of the 30 that the Peacocks have put up. St. Peter's will look to Layla Lawless to have more points if they want to hold on. More top 25 teams tip off tonight, but time ran out for the High Point University Panthers. Number 8 Virginia Tech won 94-55. Killy puts her names on the minds of all NCAA women's fans with 27-11 and a pair of blocks for the Hokies. Number 5 Utah clamping down Mississippi Valley, holding them to only 12 field goals made in the half. They're up 43-26. Number 17 Seminoles up 57-25 on a pitiful Charleston South. Florida State on pace to put up triple digits as Bonner, Gordon, and Tucker all have double-digit games. And finally, an inefficient game all around from number 17 Louisville, leading 34-22 Cincinnati. Both teams under 35% from the field. Second half, the Cardinals need to be more disciplined from beyond the arc. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Chaz McAdams.
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham and Adelphi just about ready to start the second quarter here with the fourth quarter here. Rather, we've played 3 quarters, entering into the fourth quarter. Fordham 54, Adelphi 36. The Rams able to pull away a little bit towards the back end of that third quarter. Nick Guzman here alongside Julia Moss. And Julia, in that third quarter, not a lot of scoring at the beginning of it, but Fordham started to get their offense moving a little bit towards the back end.
I think this is just a case of Fordham wearing down Adelphi's defense possession by possession, and we're finally seeing the result of that. Kind of an ugly start to the beginning of that third quarter. Perfect ending. Before this run, 18 points was the largest lead. They've now tied that with a chance to bring it even further.
Amy Hayford is Fordham's leading scorer on the day with 15 points. She made a 3 right at the end of that third quarter, sort of as the exclamation mark to Fordham's run to end that frame. 10 minutes left on the clock in this one. The Rams protecting an 18-point lead in their season opener against Adelphi. For Adelphi, this goes in the books technically as an exhibition game. For Fordham, they can win this one. It's 1-0, and it's a perfect start to the Bridgette Mitchell era here at Rose Hill.
And I think for Amy Hayford, it speaks a lot for her to be the only captain named that wasn't here last season. We're seeing tonight why that was.
Hayford will inbound to get us started. The Rams attacking from left to right here in the fourth quarter. Mandy McGurk ahead to Hayford on the near side wing. Hayford gets the screen from Lee. Miranda Nyborg now outside the three-point line. Lee at the free throw line, back to the basket. Hands off for Hayford on the left side. Her shot won't go. Rebound by Jenna Jordan. And Jordan will carry ahead for the Panthers. Isabella Asensio commanding the offense straight away. Hands off on the left side there for Horvath. Now on the far wing, Jordan. Robinson straight away into the far corner. The three from Horvath. That's no good. Off front rim. Rebound there from Lee. And Mandy McGurk will slow things up across the timeline. Rose Nelson on the near side. Nelson cuts to the middle. Now Nyborg swung to the far side. Amy Hayford. Hayford inside looking for Lee. Pass deflected away to the far wing for Mandy McGurk. She'll fire from distance. That's too strong. But Lee with the offensive rebound. Back up top for Amy Hayford. Hayford on the far side. Gets a screen from Lee. Now straight away to the far corner from McGurk. McGurk, tough shot on the run. That's no good, but a foul against Adelphi. And Mandy McGurk will go to the free throw line and shoot two. But crashing the offensive boards has been a theme in this one for the Rams, Julia.
I mean, just we've said it over and over and over again at this point, but that's because this keeps coming up. Every single time they miss a shot, they're crashing the boards, they're going for the offensive rebound, and even when they don't get it, they get awfully close.
Mandy McGurk misses her first free throw. She's 0 for 3 on the day from the free throw line.
Typically a 78% free throw shooter.
McGurk gets the fourth one to go, so she's 1 for 4 on the day, 1 for 2 in that trip. Fordham lead Adelphi now by 19. It's 55-36 with 8:45 to play in this fourth quarter. Isabella Asensio dribbles ahead for Adelphi. She hands off for Horvath. Now on the far side, it's Jenna Jordan backing down against Miranda Nyborg. Jordan took a bump from Nyborg, and it'll go in Fordham's direction. I think Jordan wanted to foul with that contact, but she just lost control.
Miranda Nyborg has been stellar on defense this entire game. Not an easy assignment with Jenna Jordan being kind of their source of offense throughout this game, but really holding her own time and time again.
Mandy McGurk carries ahead for the Rams across the Block F logo. Pass to the near side for Amy Hayford. Hayford on this near side wing gets the screen from Lee. Straight away now Miranda Nyborg. They're back to the hoop. It's Lee. Spins around at the free throw line. Now Rose Nelson on the right side. Nelson gets inside with her left hand. Nelson all the way to the basket. And the finish for Rose Nelson. 57-36 Rams. Isabella Asensio on the far side. She hands off for Robinson. Top of the key now for Zena Horvath. The crossover on Nelson. Horvath looking to create some space straight away. Pass to the far wing. Asensio will fire a three. That's an air ball. And Fordham can push back the other way. It's Mandy McGurk all alone. McGurk with the finish off the beautiful feed from Amy Hayford.
I mean, that's just effort. She was wide open under the basket, just outrunning the entire Adelphi squad.
Asensio again for the Panthers. In the post for Jenna Jordan. Miranda Nyborg defending there. The cross-court pass for Robinson. Robinson spins at the baseline. Another turnover. Amy Hayford back the other way. Hayford running at Asensio. Hayford too strong, gets in there and gets the finish. 61-36 Rams with 7:13 to play. And a whistle and a timeout here. Timeout Adelphi with 7:10 to play in this fourth quarter. 61-36 Fordham.
And we mentioned one player who hasn't come into the game yet, Cassidy Mahaney. Before that timeout, she was lined up to come in. Should be her coming in on the other side of this timeout, which makes, I think, every single player who suited up today.
That would be, there was 10 players available, and that would be the 10th. And for Fordham, talk about what it looked like last year under head coach Candace Green in terms of the tight rotation, and it was really a seven person, maybe 8-person rotation. Here, all at the absolute most would be 8 people, but here all 10 getting into action in the season opener.
And it just shows the confidence that Coach Mitchell has from player 1 to player 10. And I have no doubt that if the other 2 players, Maya Giles-Jones, who's injured, we don't know the context or the severity of that injury, and then Taya Davis also not suiting up today, I have no doubt that if they were on that bench, they would also be getting playing time.
It's 61-36 Rams with 7:10 to go in this fourth quarter as both teams talk things over. But down the stretch here, Fordham have been able to pull away. Next up for them, it's a date with Albany on Friday, and then a big away trip, their biggest away trip of the season coming up this Sunday. Fordham will play away against the University of Miami.
Two huge games. I mean, first starting with Albany, I know there's one player on that team that we're all too familiar with, Sarah Carpel, starter on last season, will be traveling back to the Rose Hill Gym on Friday. And then, of course, a Sweet 16 NCAA participant in Miami at Miami just 2 days later. It's a tough schedule coming up, but definitely going to be a learning experience for better or worse in this next week.
And I think a big talking point coming into this season for Fordham was, if you look at, in total, the Rams last season scored 2,315 points. Of all those points scored, they returned just 107. That's thanks to Matilda Flood and Rose Nelson. So that's only 4.6 of their season total from last year. So we had questions about who was going to do the scoring. And it's really been a lot of different people, whether it's Amy Hayford, Taylor Donaldson, Mandy McGurk has 10. They're really sharing the load.
One, I want to say that is an incredible stat you pulled.
It is.
Really great
It also
stuff.
speaks to the brilliance of Asia Dingle and Anna DeWolf and all that they did last year.
Oh, absolutely. But credit to this current Rams team. I mean, yes, Adelphi is a Division II team, but they played Stony Brook close just last week. So definitely not a team to scoff at or look over. They're a strong team, especially within the Division II ranks. And Fordham able to show that, they're just better.
Adelphi will inbound on the far side in front of their own bench. Carmen Quetti checking into the game. She'll get the ball back in for Caitlin O'Connell in the backcourt. O'Connell running against Donaldson now on the right side. O'Connell looking for an angle. Crossover still beyond the three-point arc. O'Connell into the corner. That's a three. That one rims out. Carmen Quetti let it fly from distance. No good. Rebound by Nyborg, and Matilda Flood can carry ahead for the Rams. Cassidy Mahaney, her first minutes of the season. Mahaney passes off for Taylor Donaldson. Into the post for Rose Nelson. And Nelson gets the foul. Whistled there against Quetti.
Credit to Fordham's defense so far. Has held Adelphi entirely scoreless since the start of the fourth quarter. Fordham, on the other hand, able to get 7 points, looking to tack on 2 more as the inbound pass gets completed by Cassidy Mahaney.
And Mahaney will inbound underneath. Looking for an option. She gets into Rose Nelson right in front of her. Now Mahaney in this near side corner. Passes out up top for Matilda Flood. Flood straight away now on her left hand, attacking it at the hoop. Miranda Nyborg, the mid-range J. That's no good off front rim. A fight here for the rebound between Mahaney and Caitlin O'Connell. It's a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of Adelphi. So
Great.
They will keep it here with 6:30 to go in the fourth quarter.
Great effort by Mahaney there. I guess a pro to being the only player who hasn't come on in quite some time. Fresh legs.
Fresh legs. 6:30 to go in this fourth quarter. Caitlin O'Connell will dribble it ahead for Adelphi. On the far wing here for Victoria Morgan. Morgan for Jenna Jordan. Jordan working at Nyborg. She spins in the post. That shot no good from Jordan. Rebound by Nyborg, but Nyborg had it poked away in the backcourt. Jenna Jordan now will wait for her team to join her. But fighting for it there once again. Eager is Cassidy Mahaney, but she'll be whistled for the foul.
Cassidy Mahaney had all ball at first, but when it was ripped out of her hand, she kept going, kept with the effort and the energy, but unfortunately got a little bit of her hand there.
Amy Hayford will check back in for the Rams. Checking out is Rose Nelson. As Jenna Jordan will take a seat for Adelphi. As Amanda Barron Hansen, number 12, gets her first minutes of the day. Caitlin O'Connell here for Adelphi. Now Lauren Bieberman in the game. Bieberman dishes off. And that pass off the hands of Barron Hansen just into the game. That's a turnover against the Panthers. 5:54 to play in this fourth quarter. It's Fordham 61, Adelphi 36.
Pros of players coming into the game a little later, fresh legs, but the cons, some nerves. And you can see there, pass went right to her, just slipped right out of her hands. Have no doubt that was probably some nerves going there.
Mina Lee will check back in here for Miranda Nyborg as Fordham here on offense through Mahaney on the near side wing. Mahaney looking for an option, swings it to the far side. Hayford looking for an option on her right hand. Once again here Mahaney. Inside for Lee, back out for Cassidy Mahaney. Her three off front iron. Rebound by Adelphi. And the Panthers can go back the other way. O'Connell gets inside the high hook shot with her right hand, nowhere close. And a rebound there from Mina Lee. And Amy Hayford will settle things down for Fordham with 5:15 to play in this fourth quarter. Near side wing Donaldson, beautiful pass inside for Matilda Flood, but very well defended there from Lauren Bieberman.
Great block by Bieberman there. Matilda Flood probably could have benefited from maybe taking a shot fake before that because Bieberman committed from the very beginning.
Amy Hayford will inbound. Hayford to the near side corner for Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson dribbling with her left hand, whistle and a foul there against Victoria Morgan. 5:07 to play. Fordham will once again inbound underneath. Hayford once again tasked with it. In for Matilda Flood. Flood at the free throw line with her back to the basket. The step back jumper from Hayford off side rim, and the rebound is secured there from Quetty. Back the other way comes Adelphi. Victoria Morgan. Morgan against Cassidy Mahaney. Morgan, a step inside the three-point line. That shot no good, but an offensive rebound there from Carmen Quetty, who's able to go back up and finish. Fordham back the other way through Taylor Donaldson on the far wing. Donaldson gets to the basket with the left hand. Her shot too strong. Rebound secured there from Caitlin O'Connell. 61-38, Fordham here with 4:30 to play in the fourth quarter. O'Connell now in front of her own bench on the far side. O'Connell working against Flood. At the free throw line, she turned it over. Amy Hayford standing right there. Hayford leading the break the other way. Hayford goes all the way. Her shot no good, but a foul called against the Panthers. And with 4:14 to go, Amy Hayford will go to the free throw line.
Another great drive by Amy Hayford. Not able to get the bucket, but great tenacity and great intensity to draw the foul.
Kayla Berry checks back in for the Rams. Matilda Flood will check out. First free throw coming from Hayford. First one rims out. But for Hayford, 17 points so far on the day.
And coming into this game, Coach Mitchell mentioned that, when thinking about who their shooter could be, she named Taylor Donaldson, but so far it's really seemed like Amy Hayford is by and far the leader of this offense.
Hayford gets the second to go. She'll check out now as Mandy McGurk comes back into the game. 4:10 to play in this fourth quarter. The Rams up 62-38 over Adelphi. Caitlin O'Connell on the far side for the Panthers. Now swung back to the near side. Barron Hansen gives off the long three from distance. No good there from Victoria Morgan. Rebound secured by Kayla Berry, who gets called for a double dribble there in the backcourt.
Fordham still holding Adelphi to just 2 points in this entire fourth quarter. Only 3:55 left until the end of the game.
O'Connell comes to get in the backcourt, working against Mandy McGurk. Passes this near side wing. Lauren Bieberman gets it back. Bieberman will try the three. Off back rim. A fight for the rebound there. McGurk battling for it with Barron Hansen. And it'll be a foul against Mandy McGurk, I believe. And Adelphi will inbound from underneath the basket. Barron Hansen will get it back in with 3:43 to go. Her pass up top for Caitlin O'Connell. O'Connell straight away working against McGurk. McConnell gets the screen. O'Connell picks up her dribble, now kicks it back out. Victoria Morgan, the high floater with the left hand, nowhere close. And Lee is able to secure the board. Mandy McGurk back the other way for Fordham. Taylor Donaldson, near side wing. Mina Lee, and now Donaldson straight away beyond the arc. Donaldson to this near side for Mandy McGurk. McGurk to the left hand using the screen from Lee. The pass inside to Lee, the pick and roll to perfection between McGurk and Lee.
Mandy McGurk fully knowing how tall Aminata Lee is, throwing it up there over the defender. Lee able to corral it, pull it up for a layup.
Caitlin O'Connell here for Adelphi. We're under 3 minutes to play. The three from straight away is banked in. Carmen Quetty lets it fly from distance. The bank is open here at the Rose Hill Gym. 64-41 Rams, 2:40 to go. A half-hearted full court press from Adelphi as the Rams get back the other way. And drawing the foul and going to the free throw line is Cassidy Mahaney. Not quite the same intensity in that press from Adelphi as there was maybe in the second quarter.
Not quite, that's definitely for sure.
Two substitutions coming in for Fordham. Rose Nelson and Kayla Harris both check back into the game. As Mina Lee and Taylor Donaldson will check it back out. A chance for the first collegiate points here for Cassidy Mahaney, freshman guard from Frederick, Maryland. 2:38 to play in this fourth quarter. Some confusion here on the court. I think another sub coming in for Adelphi. And it is. Rolanda Robinson will check back in the game. Now 5 on the court for each team as Mahaney can shoot her free throws. The first one rims out from Mahaney. But there's been 10 Fordham players available to play in this game, and all 10 have come in and played. Mahaney the 10th.
And at this point, all 10 have played a decent amount of minutes.
And she gets it to go. First collegiate points for Cassidy Mahaney. The Rams lead 65-41 with 2:30 to go in the fourth quarter. Isabella Asensio back on the court for Robinson. Swung all the way to the far side for Lauren Bieberman. Bieberman in the post looking for Robinson, but the Rams steal it away again. Mandy McGurk leads the break for Fordham. McGurk hands off on this near side wing for Rose Nelson. Nelson tries to get towards the middle, forced to pick up her dribble. And now back up top for Mandy McGurk on the near side. McGurk uses the screen from Kayla Harris. McGurk, that pass, and it'll be a turnover there for Mandy McGurk. Adelphi get the steal. Pass ahead for Robinson. She's got to track that one down. And it'll roll out of play. Fordham possession. 1:57 to play in the fourth quarter.
Fordham really capping off a stellar defensive performance here, forcing yet another turnover.
Inbound here in the backcourt. Asensio, the only Adelphi player pressing here, and Matilda Flood can carry up court easily. Flood, pass inside, dangerous one. Kayla Berry able to come away with it. On the far side, Matilda Flood from beyond the arc. Flood gets inside, and a foul, I think, before the shot. Flood is able to get the finish, and it's an offensive foul against Fordham. Adelphi will take possession here with 1:40 to play. Asensio will carry ahead for Fordham. Not in any particular hurry with the Panthers down big. Asensio marked closely by Flood. Straight away, Robinson swung all the way to the far corner now for Lauren Bieberman. Bieberman, Robinson will try the three. That one in and out from Rolanda Robinson. And a rebound there for Kayla Berry. 1:20 to play. Matilda Flood to the far corner. Cassidy Mahaney into the post for Kayla Harris. Back up top, Rose Nelson straight away. Nelson crosses over, dishes off now. That shot up and in and one for Kayla Berry. A moment for her. Berry gets the and one off the feed from Nelson. 67-41 Fordham. Berry, one of just 4 returning players on this Fordham team, but she only played in 2 games last year, and both those were 1-minute cameos. Just able to get in here and make an impact. She'll try to finish off the three-point play here. And she does. 68-41 Rams. 1:06 to play in this fourth quarter. Asensio across the Bach F logo and across the timeline. But a whistle there. It's going to be a foul against the Rams. She's a little too eager there. Cassidy Mahaney gets called for the reach. And Adelphi will inbound in front of their own bench with under a minute to play. Asensio navigates her way to the near wing, but it's stolen away by Matilda Flood. But Asensio able to swipe it right back. Asensio still working on this near side, now retreats back to the middle. Again, 5 seconds to shoot here for Adelphi, now 3. Robinson's got to put it up. 1 second, did she get it off? She did, but her wild shot was off the side of the rim. Rebound secured by Kayla Harris. 30 seconds to go in this one, 26 on the shot clock. Matilda Flood here for Fordham. To the near side wing, Rose Nelson. Nelson gets to the basket on her left hand, now shoots with the right. Beautiful move from Rose Nelson for the deuce. 70-41 Rams, 13 seconds to play. It's Asensio for Adelphi, and the Panthers here will likely just dribble out the clock. They're still attacking here with 5 seconds. Asensio now retreats. She'll take a mid-range jumper and knocks it down, essentially at the horn, 0.3 seconds to go. 70-43, and that will do it here from the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham 1-0 in the Bridgette Mitchell era. The Rams defeat Adelphi University by a final score of 70-43, really pulling away in that third quarter, Julia, but a complete performance from the Rams in this opener.
This is exactly how they wanted to start this season out. I mean, Adelphi isn't exactly the top competition that they're going to play this season, and it's only going to get more difficult. So what's important for Fordham here is, yes, they played great today. They started off the season exactly how they wanted to, but it's important now to know what they did well and take that into these next few days.
Balanced scoring for the Rams throughout. Amy Hayford led the way with 18 points. Taylor Donaldson also contributed 12. Mandy McGurk had 10. But all 10 Rams who were available in this game ended up seeing action on the court. And for a Fordham team that didn't have a ton of depth last year, that means a lot this season. But the Rams are 70-43 victors here at the Rose Hill Gym, and the Bridgette Mitchell era has started off in just about as good of a way as possible. But Julia, so your final thoughts here from the Rose Hill Gym?
I mean, as I said before, really, really strong start to this season. 70-43, you can't get much better than that. But it's only going to get tougher, as I said before. But great start.
The Rams back in action on Friday against Albany, and then on Sunday, a big road trip against the University of Miami. But for WFUV Sports, I'm Nick Guzman alongside Julia Moss. Shout out to Michael Matucci here on site with us. We'll send you back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one post-game report with Brian Rabacs.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Thanks, Nick, and welcome into the Rose Hill Studios once again for the one-on-one post-game report. I am Brian Rabacs, coming at you after a Fordham win to open the season, 70-43, the final over Adelphi. Fordham, the Bridgette Mitchell era, starts off with the win. Fordham 1-0 on the season. We'll break all of that down, but before we get into it, we're going to send it back to Chaz McAdams for one last one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Getting into some late night A10 action, George Washington puts Howard to bed, getting the 64-58 win. The Bison got it to as close as a one-point deficit, but Nia Robertson's 8 threes make sure the Revolutionaries get their first win. Howard should look to regroup and pass the ball more. The UMass Minute women beating the St. Peter's Peacocks in the third. UMass up 34-23, low-scoring game all around. The Peacocks have yet to hit the long ball all day, only exaggerated by the tight, small ball, 8-women rotation of the UMass Minute women. LaSalle, Duquesne, and Loyola Chicago have all recently tipped off and look to go underway in their first matchups. And some top 25 action continues. Number 5, Utah clamping down Mississippi Valley, up 51-36 at the half. Alyssa Pilley has yet to miss a shot. 9 field goals made and a pair of threes, 26 solid points for her and the Utes. Number 17, Seminoles, up almost 40 on Charleston South, 70-32 halfway through the third. The big three of Bonner, Gordon, and Tucker continue to dominate on an inefficient Charleston South. Cincinnati inches it to a single-digit deficit on number 17, Louisville. 44-37's the score with 3 minutes to go in the third. Cincy having a tough time on the offensive glass against an eager Cardinal squad. With the final one-on-one scoreboard, I've been Chaz McAdams.
Thank you, Chaz, with another terrific one-on-one scoreboard update. So let's get into the woodworkings of this game. Fordham, a 70-43 win to open up the season over Adelphi. Now, we do have to maybe curve it a little bit, factor into the fact that they're playing Adelphi, a Division II team, and this was an exhibition for this Adelphi team. But you have to look at the final score, 70-43, a 27-point win to open up the season. If you're Bridgette Mitchell and if you're on this Fordham roster, I would say that's exactly how you draw up a game to start the season.
Big transfer talk. Come on now. Big win for the Fordham Rams. Let's go. Way to start off the season right. Amy Hayford, shooter now, 50% from 3. Has a nice pair for herself. TD clamping down, as I said, but still an offensive machine. Getting down the lane, easy on the fast break. My girl Mandy McGurk, just able to let it loose, not afraid to shoot the ball at all. The one thing for the Fordham Rams, though, I'm scared at these assist numbers. You can't have single-digit assists when you have a high-powered offense like this, but nonetheless, a great win, even though, again, Division II team, you're hoping to see kind of more domination because, for me personally, I know they can get there, and I didn't see that from them, which was unfortunate, but a win is a win is a win is a win.
And they ran up the scoreboard on Adelphi as well. And you look at some of the main contributors in this win. You look at Amy Hayford, 18 points, a really nice first game in a Fordham uniform. And Tay Donaldson, 12 points. McGurk, 10 as well. So 3 players in double digits for these Fordham Rams. And a lot of people, when looking at this team, it was an entirely new lineup, a lot of new faces, not sure what to expect. Well, the top 3 scorers of the night are 3 new players, so Fordham fans getting a little taste as to what these transfers can do and what this team could look like for the rest of the season.
Love this new system from Bridgette Mitchell, emphasizing efficient shots as well as a lot of great full court play. And her system, while it's green the X's and O's, is more caters to like the heart and grit for a basketball team. 55 rebounds. You got 4 different players with at least 5 different players with at least 6. Come on now. You got guards getting some big boards out here. But again, like I just wish they ran up the score at the end. Fantastic. It's Adelphi. I need more domination. I need more. Hayford and TD and McGurk, great things from them. Love 10 boards from Mina Lee. I need my starting power for Rose Nelson. While she didn't miss a shot all night, I need her to shoot more than 2 shots.
Well, you mentioned the rebounding battle, 55-39 in the favor of Fordham. And when you look at someone like Lee standing in at 6'4", that could completely change the way that this Fordham team operates. And when you look at last year's squad, they were really good at getting to the basket and scoring, but they didn't have a lot of height where they could out-rebound teams and play well on the glass. So Lee at 6'4" might give Fordham a little bit of a height advantage, and you saw a little bit of that tonight, grabbing 10 boards.
Yeah, Mina Lee's a game changer out there. She's scary for opposing offenses, especially when they try to go down low. Love her tenacity on not block chasing, but just able to contest everything. Very like Rudy Gobert, Markey, and not to take it to the NBA stuff. A lot of good things I like to see from her. And one of the rare, or not rare, efficiency is such the key for these Fordham Rams. 40% from the field, 22 from 3, 55% from the line. Against the D2 team, Brian Rabacs. I'm glad we got the win.
You have to be.
A loss would have been devastating. Right. Devastating.
Yes.
But I need more of a statement. If you basically against the D2 team, you're in a stacked A10. The A10 is so good in the NCAA Women's Basketball Division 1, and you're putting up 40%, 41% field goal, 55% for the line. You got to hit the free throws.
Well, with this, I think it took a while for this Fordham team to really get going. And that was kind of one of the things that I was looking at to start the year, where it's a completely new group. It might take some time to gel because this is the first time in game action. And when you look at what they did in the second half, they only led by 9 at the end of one half of play and then really broke away in the second half. And a lot of that was the shooting got more efficient, and they were having more success with the 3-ball too. And then you look at on defense, Jenna Jordan had 12 points in the first half, only 2 in the second half. So they zeroed in on her, but did a better job getting to the basket, and all of a sudden they put up 70 points on the board at the end of things.
And they were able to shut down without fouling. There's not a big with more than 2 fouls. That's huge, especially when you have such a tight rotation on a smaller team. If Nyborg, Lee, and Harris can keep it together like that all season, they can all play extended minutes. That's fantastic. But on the other hand, when you're talking about Jordan holding her to 2 in the second, I mean, she was their only offense in the first, the only way that they were keeping it close at all. And Coach B able to make the adjustment, 0 in on that, and that's why the Fordham Rams dominated the second. But again, it's Adelphi. I need to see more.
The real test might come on Friday night against Albany, but a 70-43 win for Fordham to start their season. And when you look at this Fordham team, where they were in the preseason rankings, ranking 13th in the A10 preseason poll. But Chaz, you're able to watch these girls in practice. Just how far can this team go? What can we expect this season? And is this game against Adelphi potentially a showcase of what they can do with the basketball?
It's a showcase that they're not lost. Like a loss to Adelphi here, I'm hitting the big red panic button on the wall and everyone's going crazy. Like the old SpongeBob meme when he's in his own head and the file cabinets are on fire. I'm freaking out if we lose to Adelphi here at the home opener in the historic Rose Hill Gym. UAlbany's a real test.
Mm-hmm.
They just got to buy in. That's so the key with some NCAA basketball. Especially if you're ranked so low, if you can buy into your system and buy into the other 12 girls that are riding the pine with you, that are going in and out of practice every day, that are your Division I sisters, that's how you get wins and cohesion with a whole new look team. Again, these girls have played months together, not years, months.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer when they were looking and some tough scrimmages, it was weeks. So it'll develop as the season progresses. I'm sure we'll get more efficiency. I'm sure we'll get the defense was fantastic again. D2. If the Rams can buy into that Bridgette Mitchell, if they can get over the hump and finally realize that this is the life we're living, this is our year of basketball. Let's win some dang basketball games.
Well, Fordham starts off their season with the win tonight. 70-43 over Adelphi, but I think that'll wrap up our post-game show. Sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. On the call was Nick Guzman and Julia Moss. And in our Rose Hill studios, Will Talent was our producer, Zach Cordova, our engineer, and Kurt Sippel on the highlights. Our next broadcast of Fordham women's basketball will be Friday night at 7 p.m. as they take on UAlbany. The final score of today's game, Fordham 73, Adelphi 43. Alongside Chaz McAdams, I'm Brian Rabacs. Enjoy the rest of your night. Fordham Women's Basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.